I need you to stop for a second, not scroll, not skip ahead, just stop and actually listen to this. Because at some point in your life, maybe right now, today, you told yourself a lie. You looked at where you were versus where you thought you'd be, and you decided the gap meant something was wrong with you. You decided it meant you weren't good enough, that you'd already missed your shot, that the best version of your life was something that happened to other people. I'm here to tell you that story is a lie, and today, we're going to replace it with the truth. There's a man most Americans have never heard of, a high school dropout from rural Kentucky named Harland. At 40, he was broke. At 50, he was a failed restaurant owner living out of his car. At 65, he received his first Social Security check for $105 and nearly wept, not from gratitude, but from humiliation. Because at 65, Harlan David Sanders felt like a failure. So what did he do? He took that $105, he got back in his car, and he started driving across the country, knocking on the doors of restaurants, asking them to try his chicken recipe. He was rejected 1,009 times before a single person said yes. You know that man today as Colonel Sanders, the founder of KFC, one of the most recognizable brands on earth. He was 65 years old when his life's real work began. So before you tell me you're too late, I need you to think about that. Here's what nobody tells you about success. It doesn't operate on your timeline. It doesn't care about your age, your past, your zip code, your bank account, or what everyone else in your life has achieved. Success operates on one timeline only, the moment you decide to go all in and refuse to quit. We live in a culture obsessed with early wins. Forbes, 30 under 30, teen millionaires, college dropouts who built empires before they were old enough to rent a car. And while those stories are incredible, they have quietly convinced millions of people that if they have made it by a certain age, they never will. That is one of the most destructive myths in modern American culture. The truth, most of the world's most meaningful accomplishments came from people who had every reason to quit and chose not to. Vera Wang didn't design her first wedding dress until she was 40. Stan Lee didn't create his first major Marvel superhero until he was almost 39. Laura Ingalls Wilder published her first book at 65. These were unlucky accidents. These were the results of people who refused to let the world decide what chapter they were on. Your story isn't over. It may not even be past the first act yet. The question is, what are you going to do with the pages you have left? I want to get real with you for a second, because motivation without direction is just noise. So let me ask you something uncomfortable. What is the thing you keep almost doing? The business you've been writing notes for since 2019, the degree you keep saying you'll go back for, the relationship you want to repair, the health goal you've restarted 12 times. What is it? You know exactly what it is. You felt it the second I asked. Now here's what I want you to understand. The reason you keep stopping is that you lack discipline. It is that you're really lazy or broken or fundamentally different from the people who made it. The reason you keep stopping is that somewhere along the way, you decided the outcome wasn't guaranteed, so why bother starting? But here's the thing about guarantees. They don't exist, not for anyone. Colonel Sanders had no guarantee his chicken recipe would work. Neither did Walt Disney, who was fired from his first newspaper job for lacking imagination. Neither did Oprah Winfrey, who was told on live television she was unfit for TV. Every single person who ever built something worth having did it without a safety net. They did it afraid. They did it uncertain. They just did it anyway. That's the only difference between you right now and the person you want to become. Not talent, not luck, not timing, action taken in the presence of fear. So here is what I'm asking you to do. Not tomorrow, not Monday, today. Write down the one thing you've been putting off, just one. And underneath it, write this sentence. I am doing this because I refuse to let fear make my decisions. Then take one action, just one that moves you toward it. Send the email, open the application, make the call, buy the domain, lace up the shoes. One action, today. Because momentum doesn't start with a massive leap. It starts with a single step that tells your brain, we are the kind of person who moves. And once you start moving, something remarkable happens. The fear gets quieter, the doubt shrinks, and the version of you that you've been trying to become for years starts showing up in the mirror. You are not behind. You are not too late. You are not disqualified by your past. The only thing standing between you and the life you actually want is the decision made right now. in this moment, to go after it like you mean it. If this video hit home for you today, I want you to do me one favor. Share it with someone who needs to hear it. Not because it helps my channel, but because there is someone in your life right now, sitting on a dream they've nearly given up on. And maybe this is exactly what they need to take that first step. Subscribe if you want more content like this. Drop in the comments, what's the one thing you're committing to today? I read every single one, and I'll see you in the next video. Now go, you've got work to do.